Well, I was very aware of the Symphony because, as most people know, my mom, Gail Luna, was the executive director for many years while I was in high school and then in college. And since I did grow up loving the orchestra, learning about the orchestra, knowing everything there is to know about the orchestra, I decided to move to Charleston to go to graduate school. And I received a Master of Public Administration with a concentration in nonprofit management and arts management. I was then lucky enough to be hired at the Charleston Symphony Orchestra as a development and events coordinator. So then I actually had real-world orchestra experience, and when this position opened up, it felt like a perfect fit, and I'm very excited that I'm able to come home and put my experience and knowledge to work with an organization that I love. Well, Charleston is a much bigger orchestra than this, so it's different. And Charleston is a very cultural heavy place, all kinds of music and arts everywhere. It's a fantastic place to live. Not as good as Cokeville, obviously. But, so I learned a lot about how a good orchestra in a very cultural town operates and how to get people involved with people who may not be interested in the orchestra, but wanting to find something new to do or wanting to find all the different cultural aspects in the town, which is something that I want to do here in Cokeville with the Bryan Symphony Orchestra, is make sure that people in town know that we're here and that we are such a huge part of the cultural aspect of Cokeville.
I'm a student at Tennessee Tech. I'll be graduating this December with my cello performance degree. I'm going to take the spring off and then attend next fall and start my master's in business administration. I've always loved playing cello, and I've played with the Bryan Symphony for a few years now, but I really don't like being trapped in a practice room for 4 hours a day, and that's kind of what it takes to be a professional cellist. Obviously I'll play the cello for the rest of my life, but what really piqued my interest was this past summer, I knew I had an interest in the business side of music, and I took an internship with Symphony Summer Music Festival, and I got really involved with that, and I loved every minute of it, and that's when I decided that the business route was the way I wanted to go with music.
Donna is very awesome. The BSO would not be where it is right now if Donna could not have stepped in and done what needed to be done over the past couple of months. She is a very good board president. She did what needed to be done, and she is helping me to figure out what needs to be done, which is good. Some board presidents will just let you do your own thing and not care sometimes, but Donna is not like that. She's been doing everything to help. She has helped make the transition from me coming from Charleston into this position a lot easier. It would have been a lot more difficult if she had not been as helpful and as encouraging and wanting it to succeed as much as I do. The BSO is a nonprofit, and we are fully supported by the community and donations and donors by our loyal subscribers and people who have just randomly come to a concert, or people who don't come to a concert but know how important this is and want to support us. We have tech faculty and tech students who are in the orchestra, which is a great teaching tool for the students, especially. Not many schools anywhere, let alone in Tennessee and the South, can actually participate in a professional orchestra. So it's a great experience for students that they wouldn't be able to get anywhere else.
Well, I certainly never thought that box office was something that I would be doing. I have experience with like orchestral management, more so dealing with like the actual musicians and, running rehearsals and stage setup and stuff like that. But it's great. I wanted to get experience in like every side of stuff, and I'm hoping to learn a lot from Susan about nonprofit stuff and all of the stuff that she knows about with grants and money and all of that. I don't really know anything about, so I'm looking forward to learning that. And I'm really getting to work a lot with the hospitality side of things, which I really love, taking care of our guest artists, making sure that food is there for the musicians, that everything's taken care of, and I really like that side of it. And I think that the coolest experience for me has been getting to know all of our season ticket holders and getting to know all of our patrons. I've seen several of them. I worked the Symphony socials before, so I've seen several of their faces, but getting to know them and getting to interact with them is just really my favorite part of running the box office.
I'm already in the process of trying to put together a young BSO supporters group. I have a couple of people lined up that have volunteered, younger people, to head up this group for me, and we are going to work really hard to try and get younger people involved, because orchestras do tend to have an older demographic. And I don't know if that's just because younger people don't know we're here or that they just don't like us. But either way, we want to try and at least get them to try us before they just assume that, no, classical music is not fun for young people, because it is fun. And we need to get people to realize that. The fact that we are not a metropolitan area and still have a professional orchestra is a huge deal. Most areas our size would never be able to do this. And it just adds so much to the community. The fact that we are live music, and there's a lot of live music in this area, which is fantastic. And there's so many different kinds of live music, and the orchestra is just one component to that. But it's such an important part for the whole community to be able to experience this. And it's a great education tool for students who don't know anything about, for young students, young children who don't know anything about classical music or the orchestra, have a chance to go to the education concert and hear this kind of music for the first time that they wouldn't be able to do if they lived in a smaller town or a town our size that doesn't have an orchestra.
The Cypress String Quartet, I'm really excited for them. And Dan Alcott was in here a few weeks ago, and I have to play on a concert a semester for my scholarship, and I was like, I really want to play on that concert, but he was like, that's going to be a smaller orchestra. So I don't get to play on that concert, but I do get to watch it, and I'm really excited for them to come in. And I get to do the hospitality side for them too, so that'll be really exciting, and get to meet them and stuff like that.
I do want the symphony to be visible, not just with young people, but everyone in the community. I think that there are so many people that live in this area that have no idea that the BSO is here. And just getting our name out there, being visible so that people know we're here and know who we are, know what we do, is very important. And that's something that I want to do more than some other things, is make sure that we're visible to the community.